What is up, you guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Drawsketeer. In this video, I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to draw the Among Us characters. I hope you enjoy. Anyway, let's get right into it. I usually don't use tools when I'm drawing. I usually do everything 100% freehand, but I wanted to use just a random tool just to give you an idea of what you guys could do to assist in drawing characters such as these. And you can use anything. For example, in this one I used a pepper shaker, or a container full of pepper. It was just a circular object, any circular object I used just to make the outline of their heads, but you can use anything you want. And when I do draw, I like to use things that are fairly cheap as far as like utensils go, because I don't want to use the best stuff, because I want to show that you don't need to buy the most expensive tools in order to make great art. So anyway, as you can see, I drew both of the heads. I made the outline, and now I'm going along and gently sketching their bodies. Now moving right along to the next part that I want to talk about as far as like utensils go. I have this small ruler. Like I said, usually when I'm drawing I do 100% freehand, but I do have a small ruler for situations like these in cases where I do want to show you guys an easy way to do things as far as tutorials are concerned. So if you have a small ruler on hand, or any straight edge or straight object, you can do those to quickly draw your straight lines efficiently, and so that they look really good and crisp. But if you noticed, before I even got to using the ruler, I just pulled it out just to show you guys an example. Not only on the circles, but on the edges of his body, I was using what I call the horsehair technique. Now I don't know why I call it this. All I know is that as I was growing up, my friends would want me to show them how to draw because they thought that I was pretty good at drawing. So they asked how I make my lines so straight, my circles so circular, and things like that. And I was like, I don't know, I just kind of sketch it like this. And then one of my friends was like, oh, it looks like you're drawing horsehairs, like you're gently sketching things. And that became the horsehair technique. I don't know, it seems kind of stupid, probably is. But regardless, so as you can see how I'm sketching, like I'm just gently going back and forth, very, very gently, because you always want to be able to draw lightly enough to where you can erase and you can't see anything, at least in the initial skeleton of the picture. So as you can see, I'm gently striking my pencil back and forth, and what this does is, for example, if you're making a straight line and you use this technique, because you keep restarting as you're going down the line, you're kind of resetting your hand and resetting your mind in this fashion, to where if you slightly make it crooked on one of the strokes, you can just go back over it and keep making it straight, and just training yourself and training your hand in order to make straight, precise lines. Now, one thing that I did want to bring to mention in this next section of the picture when I start coloring is I am using a technique called layering, where I lightly color in the main color that I'm using onto the picture. I didn't need to do this because the colors are so standard and so basic for this particular picture that it wasn't really necessary. You could have went heavy on the hand and a little bit darker initially. As you can see right now, I'm starting to color it in fully. I could have did that in the beginning, but it had been such a long time since I had drawn last, and I kind of wanted to break my hand back into drawing and also build up my confidence with my color schemes. So that's kind of why I took the long route and doing the layering technique with that. But once again, it wasn't really necessary. Now when I got to the visor, I ended up using a 50% dark gray for the shading, followed up with a 20% cool gray for the main color of the visor, and a white Posco paint pen to bring out the glare on the visor. And then when I got to the toilet paper on the top of his head as his topper, I ended up using the 20% cool gray for the shading, and just a white colored pencil for the main color of the toilet paper. Lastly, I do my outlines, which is contrary to most artists, but I believe that this makes the most sense, because if you do your outlines first, inevitably you'll be coloring over your outlines, which could possibly blur your edges, etc., etc. So I believe it gives it a more clean and crisp look. So this is just how I do it. You can do it however you want, but if you follow this tutorial to a T, you'll most likely be doing it the way that I recommend it. Now going into this next Among Us character, it's pretty much going to be the same exact as the last one, but as you can see, I'm using an index card so that I don't smear the colors that are already on the paper from the first Among Us character. I'd already picked out all of my colors beforehand, so I recommend you do that just to have yourself prepped. All these colors I had on the go ready to pick. And as you can see, I'm coloring in the same exact fashion as the last one, and then I begin outlining in the same exact way as the previous Among Us character. Anyway guys, that's the video. Once again, this is Drawsketeer. I hope you found the content helpful. I hope it was entertaining. Please subscribe and like my video, and I'll see you in the next one.